guys, it's Dave Wood. I'm talking to you out of my new mansion-type Beverly Hills-style house out in the mountains in Costa Rica. And I wanted to cut a video, and in fact, I'm going to be cutting a lot of videos now with Costa Rica footage in it. I know I haven't put tons of that stuff out there, but I really want you guys to see kind of on the inside of my life and kind of what I do and how I live and how I build my business on a day-to-day basis. And I wanted to make a video, actually. This is a little bit of a different subject, but I think it's a really important subject to understand. And please understand, everybody who's listening to this video, this is not attacking anybody, it's not attacking anything, it's not saying one way of doing things is right and one way of doing things is wrong. I wanted to let you know about what to do if you get distractions in your business. And I'm talking massive distractions. The company going out of business, your upline doing something crazy, your downline leaving and taking a bunch of people with you, you know, the new affiliate launch of the week happens and you got to kind of protect your business against it and you got to kind of keep focused. You see, guys, network marketing is a business fundamentally where you have to stay focused on what you're doing or your business stops duplicating. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people try to build their business in a way where they're on the new hot topic of the week, right? One week they're building a way one way, right? And then the next week they switch it to the next way. And then the next week they switch it to the next way, and they keep switching what they're doing, and then it doesn't work, and then they switch companies, and then that doesn't work, and then they switch companies again, and they move from idea to idea to idea to idea. See, network marketing doesn't work like that, guys. You've got to stay fundamentally focused on what you're doing, or this industry doesn't work. What do I mean? Well, see, the idea of building a business here, guys, is to create long-term growth and duplication down many levels of people. Think about it like this. In most network marketing comp plans, now I'm not talking about direct sales, so if you're a direct sales guy, this really doesn't apply to your business model. But in network marketing, guys, we're getting paid tiny percentages off of lots of groups of volumes of people down many, many, many levels in our organization. We're getting paid potentially off of a little bit of income off of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of reps. Now here's what happens to you and your organization every time you decide to switch your strategy. What happens is your organization is progressing, they're growing, they're starting to grasp the concepts that you're teaching them, they're starting to progress, they're starting to learn, they're starting to evolve. And then every single time you switch your entire model and strategy, here's what happens. All of that duplication and growth collapses back in around a tight-knit sphere of influence around yourself, and it stops duplicating. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I wanted to do a video about today is not about that in particular. I wanted to make a video about what to do when distractions come your way, because distractions will come your way. Because here's the reality, guys. We're not all in this game for the same reasons. You know, a lot of people are in this industry for long-term residual income, and a lot of people are in this industry because they just like to be around people, and a lot of people are in this industry to make $200 a month, and a lot of people are in this industry because they think it's the hot thing at the moment, right? There's a few of us who are really there committed to building a team and doing it in a long-term way. All right, so when you look at this, there's all these different intentions, and they're not better, they're not worse, they're just different. So if you have a long-term intention, if you want walk-away residual income, if you want to be able to live in the mountains in Costa Rica or on the beach in Hawaii, you've got to be able to do things in a focused, consistent way. Okay, so what do you do when you get distracted? Well, last week I had something happen in my own business that was incredibly distracting. Now, I'm not going to drop any names because I'm not criticizing it, because it's not my place to judge what people do, if that makes sense. However, I had something happen that made me infuriated mad. A lot of you who are on my list, you saw me make something, you saw somebody else make something, and we were butting at each other's heads, and there was this big conflict. And I had this distraction that could have really wiped me out of the game for a couple of months here and totally slowed down my growth if I had let it slow down my growth. So what I did was I picked up the phone and I called my buddy Shai. Now Shai Samuel, if you guys don't know him, he's an offline network marketer, actually works in one of my old companies, really great guy, has a team of about 50,000 people, and we've kind of gotten to know each other over the last little while, stayed connected, talked every once in a while, and I know with him, he had something very similar happen to him that happened to me. So I called him up and I asked him, how do you deal with it? And here's what he told me, and I think that this was one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten in my life. He says, Dave, stuff happens. And he says, when it happens, there's only two things that you can do to keep moving along in your business. He says, number one, you don't feed it. You don't give it negative energy. because the more energy you give it, the more of a distraction it becomes. And he says that's the first thing. You don't feed it. And then here's the second piece of advice he gave me, and this was golden. This here was the one piece of advice that made me have more growth last week after this situation happened than I've ever had in a 5-day period of time in my business. He says, don't let it distract you, don't feed it, and create a campaign and get your whole team so focused on this new campaign that you're running that they completely forget about the distraction. He says, and it'll happen fast. But you've got to not feed it, and you get laser focused on what you're doing as a team, and who cares about what's going on around you, because it doesn't matter. And you know, it got me thinking back to March 17th of this year. See, a lot of you have been on my list for a little while, and in March 17th of this year, I was in a company called iLearning Global that went out of business. I loved the company. I was doing great in it. And the company got together in a corporate meeting, and they decided that they didn't want to do multi-level marketing anymore. Well, that just basically wiped out my downline. And I had a choice that day. I could have complained, I could have let it fester, but instead I chose to take action and align myself with a vision and a direction and get all of my people that trusted me focused in one direction, and as a result I had my biggest week that I'd ever had up until that point in time ever in my business, right after a massive disaster. So guys, disaster isn't always a bad thing. The question is, what are you going to do with it? And are you going to let it distract you, or are you going to get laser focused on what we're doing in the future? Here's my challenge for you. Is distractions happening? Is your upline distracting? Is your downline distracting? Is your crossline distracting? Did your company change their comp plan? Here's what you need to do. Get focused. Design a campaign. Cast a vision. And start moving forward, and all of your people will forget about the distraction that fast, because that's what happened to me this last week, guys. I had a massive distraction. It wasn't negative. I look back, and now that I look back, it was a positive thing, because from the time of that distraction, it took me 5 days, and I personally enrolled 109 new reps into my company, and I brought almost 200 reps total into my team in a 5-day window of time, not because I'm better, not because of anything like that, but because I decided to focus my energy in one direction and to not let the little things in life distract me from my vision. So my friend, I love you all and I appreciate you. I just wanted to kind of give you a tip there that really helped me in my business. And if you want to be a part of a focused team that's moving somewhere, that's really doing something, somebody who's going to work with you, who's not going to back down, who's going to be there supporting you consistently giving you the same message, consistently giving you the same direction, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. After this video is over, you're going to see a pop-up form appear in the video, and I want you to put your contact info in there, hit the submit button, and I'm going to show you something on the next page that we're working on that I think can help transform your life. My friend, I love you and I appreciate you. You be blessed. Let's go out and focus, laser focused on one campaign and one mission at a time, and let's make 2010, the remainder of the year, the best few months of our lives. I think you rock.